What's up, Arrow fans? This is Mel, and I just watched the season 3 finale, and that is episode 323, titled My Name is Oliver Queen, which aired May 13th, 2015. Now, what an episode, guys. Did anyone else get the impression that this finale could serve as the series finale? I mean, if I didn't already know that the Arrow was picked up for season 4, then I'd be freaking out right now about whether this episode was the last episode of the series or not. Thankfully it wasn't, but everything seemed to be wrapped up quite nicely. Even the ending for the flashback seemed like it could easily lead to Oliver's discovery that we first see back on Lian Yu in the pilot episode. I mean, I was expecting a cliffhanger of some sort that would have us wanting to know what the answers were, and then we had to wait for the premiere, but we didn't get that. Which is why I felt like this could be seen as a series finale. Thankfully, it's not. I want to stress that there is a season 4. Okay, with that said, let's start with the crossover element of the episode, which arrived in the form of the Flash. Now, Flash only appeared in the beginning of the episode to help the team escape Nanda Parbat, but Barry's brief appearance was amusing with his side comments on Nanda Parbat, like the hot tub dungeon and the outed identity comments. Barry alluded to his visit from Oliver back in Central City that we saw in the Flash episode 122, which aired yesterday. But timeline-wise, I have no clue when that could have happened for Oliver. But Barry continues to show his belief in Oliver despite what the former Arrow team believes. So that's a good thing. At least Oliver is backing Oliver. Anyways, while on the plane ride to Starling City, Ra's al Ghul learns of the true loyalties of Oliver when the plane is discovered to be sabotaged. The fight begins before Ra's escapes with a parachute, forcing Oliver and Nisa to try and land the plane. Now, in the season 2 finale, we learn that Oliver can fly a plane. How he does, we don't know yet, but it was great to see that his knowledge of flying being put into action in this finale when Oliver instructs Nisa on how to be his co-pilot as he tries to land them as safely as possible, even though they did crash on some level. Now, before the bioweapon was released in Starling City, the possibility of seeing Damien Darhk was brought up. Instead, we get a decoy, but I was hoping to put a face to the name, but I guess like with the season 3 teases on who Ra's al Ghul will be, like just seeing the armor or the ring, his sword, or just the back of his head. That's all we were teased before we actually got to see his face in the actual promo of his episode. But I believe the same thing may be done with Damien Darhk in regards to those teases if he is actually going to be the next season villain. Now, the teamwork on this bioweapon mission was just fantastic, as we have a mix-up of everyone: Oliver, Felicity, Diggle, Laurel, Thea, Malcolm, Nisa, and Ray Palmer. Each member had their own objective in their overall mission. Felicity monitored everyone from headquarters, as Ray worked on creating a vaccine dispersal system for the bioweapon. Diggle, Malcolm, Laurel, Nisa, and Thea, as the Red Arrow, they all focused on finding Ra's al Ghul's men that were carrying the bioweapon, and then Oliver dealt with Ra's al Ghul himself. Now, the fight between Oliver and Ra's al Ghul paralleled the one between them back in the mid-season finale, which was 309. In the end, Oliver won, and he gave the same speech Ra's gave him before Ra's gave over his ring and died. That victory was short-lived when the spying police shot Oliver, forcing him over the railing that surrounded the bridge and basically falling down a waterfall. However, he was saved by the Atom suit, and I truly thought it was Ray, so I was surprised when it was revealed that Felicity was piloting the Atom suit. And then she made a little comment, and it got Oliver to smile, which I liked. Now, speaking of Oliver and Felicity, and while I'm a die-hard fan for them, I truly didn't think we get the level of Felicity that we got in the episode because of what we've seen between them in 320, 321, and 322. we got more than I expected, more than I even hoped for. And I'm very glad for that. Now, Felicity gave one of her speeches to Oliver about how he's a different person now and how he needs to find a way to use that against Raish. And it's a similar speech to the one she gave Oliver about doing the unthinkable that tricked Slade Wilson in the season 2 finale. She was the one that helped Oliver pinpoint what needed to be done from him in order to defeat the bigger enemy that has proven to be one step ahead of him for the whole entirety of the season. And then Oliver brings up his recurring dreams of Felicity about her, which we first saw back in episode 301, and it was how he would stay with her instead of going to fight Ra's al Ghul on the mountain. And then he tells her that they would drive around together with just the two of them. And it seems like Oliver's dream comes true in the end when he asks Felicity to travel with him as he wants to be with her and figure out who this new version of himself is. A beautiful declaration from Oliver to Felicity, and I just love how things that were brought up before are mentioned again, like the coffee thing, or him having to choose between the Arrow and Felicity since he can't be both, or he can't have both. And those were just a few things that were reintroduced in this episode. I just think that it's great to see old things like that brought up to have an impact on the present day conversation or topic that the characters are discussing. Instead of just having it seem like, oh, it's water in the bridge, it never happened, and stuff like that. Now, the episode ending with Felicity driving off in the sunset, I truly felt like this was the end of the show, and it actually would have been okay with that. My OTP ended up together, and there was no threat between them. My fangirl heart is satisfied with that. So, there's that. But then I'm also glad there's a season 4 because I want to see more Felicity. But then I fear of what season 4 could do to Felicity. Because with TV, sometimes you can't see your ultimate pairing together until the very end. Otherwise, there are going to be things that come between them. I have other shows as examples, but I'm not going to get into it. And another thing about the ending was that we got Oliver's monologue during the conclusion instead of the introduction like we usually do. For the introduction, this time we got a This Season on Arrow segment that summarized the season for the viewers. With that as the introduction, the conclusion got a different monologue about how Oliver is done being the Arrow and now he's going to discover who he is now. He even says, and I quote, "It's time for me to be something else, or someone else, something else." Now, who knows what Oliver could be next, but Felicity is definitely going to be beside him as he figures it out, which I'm glad for. Now, since this was the season finale, my predictions will have to be about season 4, and it's not much. So with Malcolm as the new Ra's al Ghul, it's hard to determine if that's the last we see of him or if he will be an ally to Oliver or another enemy. How constant he is or how frequent he shows up is still up in the air. But Nisa is definitely back in the league, although she doesn't like that Malcolm is the new leader of her father's legacy. And then Ray's last scene was of him in an explosion due to his atom suit being tested for miniature properties, I believe. Although I think it's safe to say that he survived since Ray Palmer is set to appear in the new spin-off called Legends of Tomorrow, which is set to premiere on the CW in the 2015-2016 television year. I'll talk more about that in my video that will cover the CW upfront announcements, which is set to happen May 14th, actually, I think. So check that out once it's posted, most likely by the weekend, but I'll definitely have a video on that. Now, the flashback showed Oliver thinking of living alone for a while, so it's possible he'll be back on Lian Yu, but what he experiences in that 4th year is going to be a mystery that we learn in season 4. Who knows, he may go to another city that we have no clue about. And it has been rumored that Damien Darhk is the next villain to be featured for season 4. And it makes sense since he was mentioned so many times in the last few seasons, but I can't wait to see that character unfold for us. And I just wanted to point out that there are fan fiction twists where Felicity is the daughter of Damien Dark, just like how there were fan fiction twists of Dr. Anthony Ivo being Felicity's father. Hopefully we'll have an identity of who her father is in season 4, but it would be very interesting if it was either of the two men mentioned. Now, so far we haven't seen Thea experience any of the negative effects being in the Lazarus pit were rumored to give, so maybe we'll see those in season 4. I think we have to see them at some point, otherwise Malcolm's fear of using the Lazarus pit wouldn't matter in a sense. Like, he put so much emphasis on how much he hated the idea of her going into that pit, and to see no ramifications come of it, it would just seem like he worried for nothing. So I definitely want to see some backlash of Thea being in that Lazarus pit. Because at this point, it doesn't even look like she was in the pit or that she even almost died, if that makes sense. Now, Oliver mentioned the city's team of heroes continue on without him, so I can't wait to see how that fighting dynamic works. I want to see unity and fluidity between them. It's what every team strives to achieve, right? To fight together and work together as if they're one unit, one person, with each of them being an extension of one being, I guess you can say. At least I hope that made sense. And that is all I have to say about Arrow. What did you guys think of the finale or of the season in general? What do you think will happen in season 4? Leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below. I love to read them and keep the conversation going with you. I'd also like to know if you'd like for me to continue these videos for season 4. Maybe include segments you want me to include or something along those lines. I don't know. But as you wait for new Arrow material, check out my crazy crossover city videos, as Arrow is bound to be crossed over with another fandom. I believe I've crossed it over already with one, so I hope you check it out. Until next time, this is Mel signing off. Bye guys.